Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mike Kollin at MikeKollin.com. So, there's been a trick, and it really is just one trick that was put onto mankind. You can call it the original sin. What I'm going to explain to you is going to be really, really simple. It's something I've explained in depth, or at least 3 or 4 videos over the last year or two, but this is going to be so simple because it really is simple. Once you understand it, you're like, oh, that's it. I'm like, yeah, that's it. It's a really simple concept. One thing I've learned in therapy and doing different NLP techniques and going to all the trainings, because you hear it in the trainings and you see it when you work with clients, is all right. One example is that, so you have an issue, say you have a rash or you have a phobia or you can't stop smoking, right? Well, that's the symptom. That's not what's causing the symptom. So what happened with a lot of hypnotherapists in the past was they would basically heal the symptom, but they wouldn't figure out what caused that problem, the symptom, okay? So one of the things that used to happen years ago was you'd work with a hypnotherapist or maybe a therapist, and they would fix the supposed problem, the symptom, but then something else would kind of rear its ugly face somewhere else. So now, like, you're not smoking cigarettes, but you're eating candy like crazy, or you're drinking coffee like crazy, or like maybe they got rid of this one problem, but all of a sudden you've got acne really bad, you've got rashes. Well, this is the emotion, the energy, the symptoms coming up in a different route, in a different way. So one thing we found out is if you can get to the root cause, all of a sudden all these symptoms that are connected to it go away. This is why some people, okay, I had a neighbor about 2 doors over, okay? It was when I was a kid. I lived with my football coach, and he came over, we're talking, and he said, yep, this is my last cigarette, and we're all laughing because this guy smoked a pack a day. I'm serious. And we're like, yeah, right. He goes, no, he goes, I'm done. He goes, this is it. And everyone's like, oh, come on, it's not going to be that easy. Like, come on, get real. And I remember looking at the guy, and he just had this really, what's the word? It's just this dead-centered way about him. He's like, no, he goes, I'm done. He goes, once I throw this cigarette, I'm done. And here's the thing, that guy valued his cigarettes, each and every one of them. Well, he smoked a cigarette, put it on the ground, put it out, and he took the pack of cigarettes and he threw them on the ground. He stepped on them, and we're just like, oh, okay. Like, we didn't believe, we thought maybe it was a joke. He was done. Never smoked a cigarette since. So you might wonder, well, why is it that he could do that and other people struggle quitting? Well, here's the funny thing. His sleeplessness went away, his cigarette problem went away, and overeating went away, and eating junk food. All these problems, these symptoms that he was having were gone. It's because on some level he got to the root issue of what was going on. He had an epiphany. He had a realization. You guys want to know what a lot of therapy is? I know because I've been through a lot of it. When something finally shifts and changes, it's usually you have a realization, an epiphany, an understanding of something, like, oh, and then pop, it's gone. This is why timeline therapy works so effectively. If you can get back to the root issue of something, and you have a learning. See, here's what it is. One thing I'll say to you is, it's the learning that allows you to release all the emotions connected to this series of events, this series of memories. See, if you can get back to the very, very first issue, the very first time it started, you can clear it. And all the other symptoms that go along with it, the roots that go up. So here's the deal. If you have an emotion connected to something and it just won't go away, and it keeps getting triggered and it keeps coming back because someone said something, did something, gave you a certain look, it's because you have never learned the learning. See, here's the deal. This is literally in the script that we're supposed to say to you. It's the learnings that allow you to heal the emotions. It's the learnings that allow you to let go of the negative emotions. See, the emotions are the red flag. Don't even think of it as a red flag. It's just a flag saying, hey, you've got something you're supposed to learn here. That's why you went through this event. What happened is you said, nope, I'm not dealing with that, and you ran away from it. Well, the emotions aren't going to go away until you go back and go, okay, what am I supposed to learn from this? What's the learning of which that will allow me to completely and totally let go of all of these negative issues connected to this emotion, to this event? A lot of clients, and I'm including myself in this, you'll do a timeline therapy and you're kind of going, oh, okay, well, whatever, thinking nothing happened. And then over the next week, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 weeks, you're like, man, I haven't had that emotion, that pain, that suffering since I've done that session. So it's kind of weird because once it's gone, it's gone. So why would you even know about it? So in a way, you're thinking it's kind of pervasive because, well, the pain's gone. And if you're not getting pain, like I'm not pushing on your wound, you don't really notice it. So a lot of people generally call me up 2 or 3 months later and say, you are not going to believe this. I didn't think anything changed, but he goes, everything's changed. I don't overeat. I don't do this. I don't shy away from people. I don't, depending on what their issues were. And they're like, everything has changed. And yet it didn't seem like it changed. It's because it changed. So here's what I'm leading up to something. I haven't actually started the video yet, although that's some really good learnings. When I learned that stuff, I had a lot of change. So I'm leading up to something because a lot of times people complicate the shit out of things. Excuse me for cussing. But when you realize something, you're realizing it was just this one simple understanding. I'm telling you, every time I've done a lot of therapy, different NLP techniques, hypnosis, timeline therapy, energy healing, psychotherapy. I've done a lot. And I'm telling you, when I make shifts and changes, I usually have this one aha moment of, oh, it's just like, sometimes it's a super simple realization. Most of the times it's not some big massive, like, oh, it's usually just this. A lot of times the learning is so small, you're thinking that's it, and then everything goes away. All right, so here's what I'm talking about. There's one thing that happened to mankind, one simple, and it is simple, by the way, it is unbelievably simple. The devil tricked us, and that's all it is. It's a stupid little trick. It is so dumb, it's ridiculous. Shame, guilt, doubt, confusion. That's it. That's it. All right. So again, Genesis chapter 2, verse 25, they were naked in the garden with God, and they were not, N-O-T, not ashamed. Because there was no shame. There was no word for naked. Because what do you mean naked? Like, what does that even mean? And that's what the narcissist demon does to you. The serpent in the garden, the same thing. They come up to you and go, let's make something up. If you've dealt with a narcissist and you have learned your lessons, you will remember how many times I remember sitting in a burrito shop with this guy, and he goes, oh, wow, man. I'm like, wow, what? What are you talking about? He goes, really, man? I'm like, really what? What's going on? Like, he was really upset, and he was shaking his head like, man. He didn't say this, but I can't believe it. He invited me to his favorite restaurant, his favorite burrito restaurant, right? And then when we got it, he goes, hey, let me order it for you. He ordered it. He goes, let me order a burrito. Trust me, you're going to love it. I'm like, okay, great. So he brought me to his favorite place. He praised it from high heavens to high heavens, this greatest place in the world. And when we sit down, we finally get the food. I start to eat, and he's just shaking his head like left and right, like saying, man, really, man? I'm like, what? What's going on? And I'm looking around. There's no one there. It's just us. And he's like, well, I can't believe you. Can't believe what? What's going on? And I had no idea, like, what, but man, I was starting to feel guilty, like I'm looking around like, what the hell am I doing wrong here? I didn't even order the food. I didn't even say hello to the person behind the counter. But man, was he putting it on thick, like I had done the worst offense ever in the history of mankind. And that's the game right there. And then what he did was he named it. He put a name to it. He put a word to it. I'm like, well, what's going on? He goes, really, dude? A white dude in a Mexican restaurant eating a Mexican burrito? I'm like, what's wrong with that? By the way, he's a white dude. He tried to proclaim that because I went to his favorite restaurant and I sat down at his favorite table and ate his favorite dish, that somehow that made me a racist. I'm like, what are you talking about? Why does that make me a racist? I don't understand. He goes, really, man? You don't understand? Oh, okay, yeah, I see. I'm like, what? So I asked the waitress to come over. I go, let me ask you a question. Do you know who invented or where the burrito was invented? She goes, yeah, it was invented in America by an American. And he looked at me, he goes, what? I go, yeah, it's an American dish, dumbass. So I kind of blew his problem out of the water. This is exactly what the serpent, the narcissist, the demonic narcissist, the seed of Cain did. Okay, so the serpent literally told Adam and Eve, you're naked. And I guarantee you they're looking at him like, what's naked? Like, there wasn't even a word for it back then. You could tell because when they got naked, they got ashamed, they covered up. Okay, that's covering up shame. And then God comes in the garden a couple verses later and says, Adam, Eve, where art thou? And it says, and they hid. And then God called out again and said, Adam, Eve, where art thou? And Adam says, oh, we're hiding. And God literally says, why are you hiding? And Adam says, because we're naked. And then God says, who told you that you were naked? That's exactly what narcissists do. I could look at your shoes and go, oh, really? You're wearing black shoelaces with a black pair of shoes? Wow, how racist of you. I just made it up. It's not real. But damn, they'll make you feel ashamed of something you've done your whole life that everyone around you does. And all of a sudden you're feeling like this is wrong. It was made up. That's why God said, who told you this? Who said this? It's a crock of shit. It's bullshit. Now here it is. This is what this video is all about right now, right here. Do you know what the devil's number one goal is? The number one goal, it's really simple. It's really simple. The goal is to keep you from living your life. Period. End of sentence. Done. That's it. There's nothing else. Once you understand that, poof, all the other stuff melts away. All the lies, all the stuff that was made up, all the words that were changed into meaning something else, all of a sudden, you start to recognize all these little manipulations and tricks that people have been pulling on you to keep you from truly living your life. That is the original sin. You guys think it's okay, I'm going to make up a rule right now, and if you break this rule, you're going to hell because it's a sin. It's bullshit. Everything is a lie. God came down and said, hey, just, open back up to me. And they're like, no, we need rules because they're in the left-oriented brain. Again, the whole thing is the devil has to shame you and hurt you enough emotionally. What? Emotionally. You feel it in your chest, in your solar plexus and gut area. When that tightens up, it tightens up an artery in the lower reptilian brain, which limits the amount of blood flow that goes into the human brain. Your right brain uses a lot of fuel, a lot of oxygen and glucose. Okay? Glucose. Glycogen. Everything you eat, all the food you eat breaks down to glycogen/glucose. If you don't have oxygen and glucose, your right brain can't function. It needs a lot of fuel, which is oxygen and glycose. Okay? Forgive me if I'm saying it wrong. I don't want to get technical right now, but it's oxygen and glucose or glycogen. Okay? So every food you eat breaks down to whatever that word is. Forgive me if I'm not getting it right. If anyone can put you in a state of fear, which is shame, everything that falls under fear. So you've got fear, shame, guilt, doubt, confusion, anxiety, etc. All that stuff is a form or state of fear, which tightens you up, which tightens the artery in the lower reptilian brain, which limits the amount of blood flow into your larger left and right brain. If you don't have much fuel in your brain, you can't function on the higher level and be happy and joyful and live your life. Living your life means being open to your right brain, because the right brain is in the moment, in the present moment, the five senses. See, hear, feel, smell, and taste. It is called the emotional, creative, spiritual brain for a reason. It opens you up to God, which means you're in the Garden of Eden. If they can put you in a state of fear, anxiety, fear, especially shame and guilt, and doubt and confusion. That's why narcissists do that. Have you ever noticed how confused you were and how it put you in a state of fear and you didn't know what to think? And you turned to the narcissist. Well, what should I do? How should I get my haircut? Like, should I go to the store? Should I go alone? And that's what the narcissist wants. They want you to where you're so afraid of thinking for yourself, which is right brain, by the way, that you look to them for everything. Now they have control. This is how a narcissist makes friends. They destroy your self-esteem. They destroy your ability to think for yourself or even dare think for yourself, so you look to them for authority. See, the only way a narcissist can have a friend is if they have absolutely no self-esteem. So a lot of you felt that pain in your gut. I call it like it was like a massive wasp sting, about, like a 6-inch wasp sting. The wasp was just probably, I don't know, maybe 8 inches, 12 inches long, but it stung you in your solar plexus, and it probably hurt for a long, long time. Well, when you have that effect, it completely closes you off from your right brain. Now the door's closed and you're stuck in your logic, and all of a sudden the world becomes black and white. Everything, the color's gone, the flavor's gone. You literally don't taste food as much. Music isn't as enjoyable. Your 5 senses, see, hear, feel, smell, and taste, it's all the way down to the bottom, to where you can barely even taste or smell or even see the vitality, the colors, the electric greens, and all that stuff. It's just plain green. Because your logical brain is disconnected from your 5 senses. Your right brain is what makes life worth living, and that's what the devil's trying to do. He's trying to trick you to hide from that, because the right brain is also the emotional processor. So if the devil can lie to you and trick you and make you feel bad about yourself, really, man, my favorite restaurant that I invited you to eat my favorite dish here at my favorite restaurant, wow, I can't believe you're doing that, dude. Even though I'm the one who invited you to go there? Wow. How could you do this to them? Do what to who? What are you talking about? I didn't do anything. It's a game. It's stupid. It's completely made up. It's not real at all. Here is the goal. The way the way the devil hurts God is by hurting you. God created this 3-dimensional world for us to enjoy life to the fullest. It's why we're here, to be happy, to laugh, to be joyful, to have fun, to be passionate, to be driven, to be determined, to have all these positive emotional experiences. Well, the devil's pissed off at God because God wanted to take over and all this BS. I'm not going to get into that right now. And he realized, well, how am I going to hurt God? By hurting you. Well, how am I going to hurt you? By keeping you so afraid that you refuse to live your life, that you hide underneath your covers. To live is the rarest thing in the world. Most people just exist. That is all. Oscar Wilde. When I started to understand what was really going on, because for the life of me, I couldn't understand why people were mad at me. It didn't make any sense. Like, I didn't do anything to you. I've been nice to you. I've been kind. I've been helpful. Like, what's the problem? The problem is I was living my life. I was going after my dreams, and goddamn, I was having fun doing it. It was a blast. I was just out there going for it, jogging 7 miles in the morning. I was a little kid. I was in like middle school doing this, just jogging all these miles, push-ups, sit-ups, 200 push-ups, 200 sit-ups. It was actually more than that at one point. But you get the point. It's just like, I'm just out there doing it, and all these other people are all mad and angry at me, and for decades, almost 3 decades, I couldn't understand it, until my mother, when I went through an awakening when I was 28 years old, and I invited her over and said, like, what exactly did I do to deserve getting beat and have my hand burned on the stove, and all the stuff that you did to me? Like, I thought I was a good kid, I thought I was quiet, and I didn't get in trouble, and I got good grades, and I worked hard at school and sports. She goes, yeah, Michael, you were a very good kid, you were a very quiet kid, you didn't do anything wrong. I'm like, so am I missing something? Was I like this mean kid to my brothers and sisters and I just don't remember? She goes, no, Michael, you were nice to everyone. I'm like, so why was everyone so mad at me? She told me to my face, and my brain couldn't recognize what she was saying. She said, we hated you. I was like, why? She goes, everything you did, you had to win. You had to get straight A's in every class. You had to win the art competition. You had to be a state champion in boxing. You had to be the captain of the football team. You couldn't just join the football team. You had to be a starter. You couldn't just be a starter. You had to be the captain. You couldn't just be the captain. You had to win league. You had to win subsection. You had to win sections. Everything you did, you were the best. And I'm like, well, isn't that a good thing? She's like, no. And I'm like, why? She goes, we hated you because of it. And I'm like, weren't you proud of me? She goes, proud of you? I hated you. And this is my mother saying this to me. I'm like, why? I go, wasn't I nice? And she goes, yeah, and the worst part of it is on top of it, you were nice. My brain could not recognize what she was saying. I didn't understand it. I was confused. I literally didn't. I had to go to my little sister's house. Well, little, I think she was like 27 or something at the time, or 25. I had to go over to her house and just say, hey, I had a really weird conversation with mom. It didn't make any sense at all. And here's the thing, I didn't get it. She just laughed. She goes, no, I know all about it. I'm like, no, it was literally yesterday. She goes, no, mom came over and we had lunch together and we laughed about what she said to you. I'm like, no, I don't think she told you what she said to me. She says, oh, no, she did. She repeated verbatim what mom said to me. I'm like, I don't understand. Like, I was always there for you. I always helped you. I protected you from this person beating you up and that person, because one of my brothers used to beat her up a lot and I would always stop him. And she was like, yeah. She goes, I really appreciate that. I'm like, so why are you so mean to me? She goes, you just don't get it, do you? I'm like, get what? Here's the thing. I still didn't get it. I went to my best friend, told him everything, and he just goes, dude, your family's messed up. He goes, get away from them. And I did actually after that because of that. And I still did. I'll be honest with you. I just thought something's not right. This doesn't make sense. And that's exactly what it is. So here's the realization I had years later. And it was kind of when I finally had it, I actually laughed my ass off for quite a while. And I mean quite a while. The realization was this. Here they were trying to stop me since I was in second grade, because that's when I made a decision. I'm going to get straight A's. I'm going to be the best at everything I do. I'm going to work my ass off, whatever. So, and it really was because of survival. For some reason as a kid, I always thought, man, I'm not going to make it in this world. I always felt that way my whole life. I'm going to have to be the best at everything I do just to make it, right? So it had nothing to do with them. It had to do with me just wanting to survive in the future. So here's the realization that I had. I realized, I thought when they were kicking the crap out of me, punching me, hitting me, stabbing me, all the stuff they did, I thought it was them saying, especially my mother, because my mother used to take me into the living room early in the morning, 6 a.m. She'd wake me up and pull me in there and start beating me with a belt after I'd win a boxing event or any kind of event, okay? Even after we got grades, when I got straight A's, holy shit, did she beat me hard for that. But as a kid, I misunderstood. I thought she was saying, you're better than this, you can do better. And I'm like, okay, mommy. And I it was almost like a positive reinforcement, like mom believes in me, she thinks I can do better, I'm going to do better. And I was getting straight A's and this and this and that, and then she still beat me. There was a time I was like, wait a minute, like what else can I do? Now here's the funny part. I finally understood. So all that time, when I thought they were telling me to work harder and to do better, they were telling me to stop. So here I was, this little Navy SEAL little kid, just running miles, doing hundreds of push-ups, doing homework till midnight, waking up at 4:30 in the morning and starting all over. I mean, dude, I was a little psycho kid, I'm telling you. And just exceeding every expectation. I had no idea that this was driving them nuts. I had no idea that this was pissing them off. I thought they were saying, you're not good enough, you can do better. And so it motivated me. So what they were trying to do was stop me, but what they were doing, because I misinterpreted it, because I misunderstood it, it motivated the crap out of me. And ever since then, once I realized this, I was like, oh, okay. And now it motivates me in a different way, but just as much. I don't stop, especially when something happens, like I fall down, I get hurt, I fail, I make because I understand something, it drives them nuts. Okay, this is when I finally understood the point in the Bible where God says, how does he say it? Basically, when you pour compliments onto them, it's like pouring hot coals on top of their head. So when you're being nice to them on top of doing all this other stuff, when they're being mean, so when they're being mean to you and you're returning that with being kind, it's like pouring hot coals on their head. And that was another concept. I didn't understand. Like, why are you being mean to me? I'm being nice to you. And they're like, that's what's pissing us off. And they said it to me, but I still didn't get it. But now I do. And as I look back, I'm like, man, I was pissing all those people off and not even realizing I was doing it, but I wasn't doing anything wrong. I was just working hard. And then on top of it, I was being nice to them, and it just was like pouring hot coals on their head. Now here's the really funny thing, because for years before I had that realization in my 30s, my goddaughter would say, "Oh, they're jealous." I'm like, "Yeah, but," and I didn't like that. I even had an energy healer say, "Oh, Mike, they're jealous of you. They're intimidated." I'm like, "But I'm not doing anything to them. I'm not being mean." Because to me, when people got jealous, it means they were going to do mean things to me, right? And it was only because I let them, because I was nice to them. I never bit back, right? And well, that's something I learned to do, is to fight back. And so now it's like, so at the time, like, and they're like, "Well, you should feel good about yourself." Remember, I looked at my goddaughter like, "Why would I feel good about myself when someone's being mean to me?" She's, "Well, don't you understand?" I'm like, "Understand what?" Here's the funny thing. It drove me to be the nicest person in the world, and that just drove them up the wall. Because they were trying to beat you down to become negative and mean like they are. And when it does the complete opposite, it just pisses them off even more. And I didn't even know. I just thought, "Oh, well, I got to become a better person." So here I am going to the Tony Robbins seminars, going to therapy, doing all these things to better myself. And that was what was pissing them off even more. It was just this. Here's the deal. Here's all I'm saying. When you understand what's going on, you're like, "Holy shit," it'll make you laugh. You'll look at them, and it's like you look at them, instead of them being monsters, you're like, they're little spoiled babies. They're little 2-year-olds going, "Wah, wah, wah," and you start to realize it, and then all of a sudden they lose their power over you. And that's what I'm trying to share with you. Climb a mountain not so the world can see you, but so you can see the world. Okay, I went on a trip. It was a client of mine who happened to be the second in charge of the legal department at Hewlett Packard. This is a very, very powerful person. So we ended up going to Hawaii, and we were going. He had like a schedule, and I mean, it was down to the minute. Okay, we're gonna go to the beach today, and like finally it was like the 5th day, because I'm like, "Dude, like, we're in Hawaii, why aren't we going to the beach?" Like, it didn't make any sense to me. He had to go and see all the sights and take pictures. I had to take pictures of them, and we went to the beach because I complained enough. And he goes, "Okay, well, I scheduled in some time for us to go to the beach." I'm like, "You did what?" Because going to Hawaii on vacation is when you don't do schedules. That's the last thing you do. You just go and enjoy. So we're at the beach, and he goes, "All right, let's go." I'm like, "What are you talking about? We've been here like 7 minutes." He goes, "Yeah, I scheduled in 9 minutes to be." I go, 9 minutes? At this point, I was like, this is the absolute worst nightmare vacation I've ever freaking been on. And so what we ended up doing, we ended up going up this mountain. It was in, oh God, what's the name of that island? The small island, Kauai. So there's this big, long 11-mile hike, which we did. When we got to the top, there's this big bench there, picnic table, so to speak. And I think they had to use a helicopter to get up there, because I can't imagine how they got that up there. And I think there might have been a barbecue thing up there. But anyways, we sat up there. I started opening up my food to eat it, because we packed a lunch. And he goes, "Hey, take some pictures of me." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And once again, taking pictures, which is fine. But I took pictures 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He goes, "All right, let's go." I'm like, "We just got here. We haven't been here 2 minutes." I go, "You're not even looking at the view." It was the most amazing view I had seen in my entire life. And I said, "Why are you here? Like, are you?" I go, you never took one look at the horizon. You didn't look around. You haven't looked at one plant." I go, "You are in paradise. Look around. Smell the smells. Feel the vibe." And he's like, "What are you talking about?" I go, "Why are you here?" He goes, "Well, so I can take pictures to show everyone at the office." I go, "Yeah, exactly." I go, "You're not here. You're not physically here. You're not here." I go, "You're back at the office. You've never left the office. You're trying to impress people. You want them to see where you went. You're not even here. They're going to be more here when they see the pictures than you are, because they're going to have a right brain experience of it. He's not. He's having this logical, egotistical, look at me kind of event." He was rich, he was powerful, he had his doctorate degree from an Ivy League school. I mean, he had everything except for one thing: life. He wasn't living. He wasn't alive. This person had no friends, and I mean no friends. And let me tell you something, I never spoke to him again. When we went back, when he fell asleep, I called a hotel, called a taxi, went to the other side of the island, and I finished out my vacation in bliss. It was awesome. He was miserable. Oh, it's a long story. You left these voice messages full of rage. But here's the thing, though. Even before I left, every morning he was yelling and screaming, and it was just a nightmare. This guy was just miserable, but he wanted everyone else to look at his life, and everyone saw his life, and like, yeah, nobody wanted to have anything to do with it. Because he truly believed, well, if I get the Ivy League degree, if I get this powerful position, if I get this, if I get that. No, that doesn't make friends. He never lived. He never, ever had a life. He had accomplishments, but he never had a life. So you go out there and do your thing. You want to run 7 miles in the morning that brings you happiness and joy? Do it. You want to set goals that are super high and achieve them? Then do it. You want to read that book? Then do it. Do you. Do what you want to do. This is your life. And if people around you don't like it, screw them. Get away from them. Move on. Don't let the devil keep you from living your life. It's why you're here. It's why God created the Alpha and the Omega, which means the beginning of time and the end of time. It's why God created time, space, and distance. It's why we're here. It's why we have the 5 senses. Life is a gift that was meant to be enjoyed. It's a gift from God. We're supposed to enjoy this. So get away from people who are not enjoying it. Move on. He was in his external brain saying, look at me, look at me. He wants people on the outside to look at him. He went up that mountain and said, look at me. He didn't look at the mountain. He didn't look at the landscape. He didn't experience the joy, the passion. He didn't experience life. This was the most miserable person, well, one of the top 2 most miserable people I've ever met in my life. And they were both narcissists. Every narcissist I ever met was miserable, just miserable. They got a little bit of joy out of hurting people, but other than that, they were just miserable. And that joy was very little for them. They didn't enjoy life because they wanted everyone to look at them. Look at me, look at me. And God is saying, look at life, feel life, hear life. Listen to the music, smell life, feel it, enjoy it, see it. He fell for the trick. He ate of the forbidden fruit, the tree of knowledge, logic, the external brain. Look at me, look at me, look at me. Open up to the right brain, the tree of life, so you can enjoy your life and live it and experience it while you're here. I want you to do one thing. I'm going to ask you to do one thing. Make a difference. Make a difference in your life. That's the way it works. If you turn on your light, other people will be brave enough to turn on their life. It'll remind them of they have a life. So go live your life, and it'll give other people permission to live their life without ever talking to them. They'll see it and it'll remind them. They'll go, oh yeah, that's right. Then boom, they'll turn back on. Your job is not to fix other people or get other people to live or wake up. Your job is to wake yourself up. Your job is to get you to live your life. That's it. You do your job and it'll allow them to realize, oh yeah, that's right. And that's the goal. Turn your light on and other people will see it and remember they have a light too. If you need help, if you want help, I can help you with timeline therapy, NLP, Ericksonian hypnosis, and other forms of psychology that I've trained in, been certified in over the last 30, 40 years. If you want to support this channel, please, there's a donation button. There's a PayPal link right there in the description box, or you can buy one of my dating or relationship books. All right, guys, that's it. Go to MikeKollin.com. Hey, thank you guys for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. Click subscribe, click the like button, go ahead and make a comment, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.